Welcome to the Courage to Be podcast. I am your host, Tanya Vasallo. Did you ever stop to think about the impact that you might be having on someone just without even knowing it? What if your simple yes is giving them permission to say yes to, or your simple no? Like it depends on your actions, but by you being a certain way gives permission to other people to be that way too. And just think about it. What if just being you could be the most powerful thing that you could do? And this has been coming out a lot for me lately, just because I keep thinking of the impact that I'm having on other people with my move to Bali. And I haven't even been able to process all of that yet. And this is something that I teach actually in my events. On our third day, we always focus on impact and we dig deeper, as to the impact that we have just for being. Every single day, you're having an impact on the people that you interact with, so think about it. What kind of impact are you having on a daily basis? Is it positive? Is it negative? And then there's a whole ripple effect with it. But the reason why this has been coming up for me is that the other day I went for a walk with a friend of mine, and it was a wonderful stroll in nature. And when I got home later that evening, I sent her a text. I think I was, saying thank you for the day and asked her for something else. And she texted me back and she said, I have to confess that I cried knowing that you're leaving to Bali, but of course I'm happy for you. And it really touched my heart. It almost even brought tears to my eyes because we really have no concept, or we don't really think about how much, in this particular case, this move has been stirring so much in her. And sometimes our truth, living our truth, can touch people much more deeply than you'll ever see. Like if she wouldn't have shared that with me, I would have had no idea. And I like thinking about the impact, and I try and reach out to my mentors and teachers and people that have impacted me in my life. I don't do it as often as I'd like to. Maybe this is something that I could start practicing more. But I remember talking with another friend of mine about a year ago. We met in a mastermind, gosh, I don't know, maybe like 8 years ago. And so last year was year 7 of our friendship, from when we met at this mastermind. And she told me this particular mentor used to send Amazon gift cards in the mail, like if you achieved a certain milestone or something. And so my friend Michelle, that I was having this conversation with, she happened to be in the middle of a move and she found one of these Amazon cards from 7 years ago from this particular mentor. And her name is Lisa Sasovich. And so we were talking about that and I was like, wow, isn't it amazing that she doesn't even realize the impact that she's had on our lives? Here we are 7 years later having a conversation on the phone. She's the one that connected us. She has no idea of the impact that she's had, but that's like the ripple effect of the impact that she had within us 7 years prior. So it's such a fascinating subject to pay attention to, as we're moving through our days and how we are being, what we're doing, and how that's having repercussions on other people. Hopefully positive ones, not negative ones, but you do want to pay attention to this. It's just very present for me because another friend of mine told me how our conversation about my move reflected, like of just getting rid of things, one thing after another, getting rid of so many different things, that it inspired her to start getting rid of her own things too. And then she's having a conversation with one of her sisters and she's like, oh yeah, I'm going through all this stuff. I'm getting rid of things because if I drop dead tomorrow, I don't want to be leaving messes. And that's what her and I were talking about. And so here we are from one conversation that I shared with her of where I'm at on my journey, of getting rid of things and what the emotions that's brought up and stuff. Then it inspired her to get her stuff going and moving. And then it inspired her to have a conversation with her sister so that her sister and her came to an agreement that they're going to go through all their things, even get their affairs in order and stuff. So again, we have no idea from maybe one conversation, one connection with a friend, with a colleague, with a peer, what that might be opening up for other people. So here's my invitation. Where might I be creating a ripple just by being me? That's the question I want you to ask yourself. And who might be silently impacted by my courage, by my choices, by my dreams? Because whether you see it or not, someone is watching you be brave. So I invite you to continue being yourself and continue living a life of courage, because you have no idea whose life you might be touching. Just remember that it's not always the loud, flashy things that create change. Sometimes it's the quiet act of choosing yourself that changes everything. So if you're feeling the pull towards something new, something bolder, just trust it, because the courage might just be someone else's turning point. Live the life where you choose courage over comfort, and the ripple will take care of itself. Just remember this. And until our next episode, have a fabulous day, and let me know what kind of impact you're having on other people. Whether you comment in Substack, that's where I'm going to be posting most of my things now. Comment in Substack or in YouTube, and reach out. Until our next episode, have a fabulous day. If you loved today's episode, it would mean so much if you rate and review The Courage to Be on Apple Podcast. Not only does it help the show to grow, but it also gets you in the running for something amazing. Every month, I draw one lucky winner to receive a complimentary 7-night, 8-day vacation. You'll get to pick from over 3,000 beautiful resorts worldwide. You just cover the taxes and fees like you would with a travel rewards. Airfare is not included. And if you want to double your chances, along with your Apple Podcast review, leave a couple of comments on YouTube. That counts as a second entry. Just send your screenshots to help.thecouragetobe@gmail.com, and you'll find the email in the show notes too. It only takes a moment, and who knows, your next adventure might be closer than you think. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you on our next episode of the Courage to Be podcast.